Hey, what's up, team? This is Coach Last here, and I want to quickly share an experience with you that I had last night with a bunch of sport parents in a parent session that we had in preparation for the state meet that's coming up, or the state tournament that's coming up in water polo. This was a great just conversation or forum kind of setup that we had, and a lot of great information kind of came out of that. And I wanted to share that with you really quick of what we talked about and what the points were that came out of that conversation. Just to help you understand kind of what this was all about, we sat down. We had about 15 parents there. It is the end of the season, and I wanted to help the parents understand what they could do, no matter if the team lost or if the team won. And I asked those questions, and I said, okay, if we're going to sit down here and we want to be performance parents, which I'm assuming all parents really want to support and help their athletes perform really well. But we mainly, brought this topic around what can we do after the event, no matter if they win or if they lose. And those are the big questions that we kind of started the whole conversation off of. But I want to share with you the big topics that came, to the response to the win and the response to the loss. And let's just go ahead and jump straight into it right now. So number one, how can we as parents respond to the big win at the state tournament? And there were three things that came up inside of this conversation. Number one, commitment and effort over the outcome. When the athlete is on this emotional high, we as parents can very easily get caught up in the emotional high with them, which is phenomenal. It's exciting. It's exciting to celebrate the big win. However, we can also help our athletes really pursue and ground ourselves inside of that win with phenomenal kind of perspective by helping them focus on what did they do throughout the entire season to show commitment and effort in order to achieve this outcome. Therefore, in the future, the athlete will see that the parent is looking at the effort and the commitment, and therefore the athlete will put more emphasis on effort and commitment in the future, as that's a huge performance ideal. Number two, we can help them focus on what was their process? What were the little things that they had total control over that helped them achieve what they achieved inside that game? It was all about, we started talking about the outcomes of it's so easy to start thinking about and really blowing up, and the athlete's going to be really easily blowing up the trophy and the medal and the state title and all of these outcomes, the fact that they won all the score or the goals that they scored or whatever it might be. And sometimes it can be the responsibility of the parent to ground them in, yes, you won, but keep looking back at the little things that you did in order to help you get there. The first commitment over effort was all about what you do over the entire season. And the second one here, focus on the process, is really all about, helping them. What do they do inside that game that you saw as a parent that you're just really, really proud of, that, help them, and then have them allow themselves to kind of say, I did these things. These are the three things that I did really, really well. Now, on that point, we were starting to talk about how some athletes have a really, really difficult time on taking ownership over their successes, or taking ownership over the things that they're really, really good at. So we talked about, hey, some athletes are going to need, help to take ownership over what they did really well. So maybe that can be the conversation of asking them a simple question. What are the three things that they did really well, that they had complete control over, that helped them execute in that game and help them really achieve the outcomes in that game and help them take ownership over it? I did this, I did that. These are the actions I took as the athlete. And, that will really help the athlete ground themselves in, oh, okay, my mom and dad think that's important. The coaches thinks that's important. I'm going to continue putting my emphasis and my efforts on my my successes and my efforts and my process. And then we started changing the direction of the conversation to how can we as parents respond to the big loss. At the state tournament, we've all been there as parents, and if you haven't, you're going to be there at one point where turmoil, disappointment, regret, sadness can come along with, the big loss. And it's, what you can do in those 45 minutes to an hour and 30 minutes after the game, after the tournament has ended. If you lose, or if the team loses, what can you do? What can you do to support that athlete, to cope with that, to learn something out of that? And the first thing that came up within this conversation was, I just want to help. I just want to help my athlete to cope with it. I want to tell them how good they are. But then, the conversation came up of, they're just not really in that space to care. They don't really want to hear all of that stuff. They just kind of want to be in that place of sadness for some reason. And we started talking about, okay, what can we do as parents in order to support them after the big loss? And the first thing that came up was, listen to them. Don't talk. Don't say anything. Be there for them. When they're ready to talk, they will talk. When they don't, when they don't talk, don't necessarily, you don't need to tell them, or you don't need to talk to them. You can sit there and you can just wait for them to talk to you. So as a parent, if you ever find yourself in a place of, I just want to help them, I just want to tell them how good they did, let them come to you. That, after the conversation, I kind of said, what's worked really well, what's worked best in these situations in the past for you guys. And they all said every time that we talked, a fight typically broke out. And every time that we listened, we were able to cope with it. We were able to come to the point where we were able to move on. And you can do that too, right? The second big thing that came out of this conversation was get the kids food. Right? This is as simple as that, but you can get your kids food and it'll help bring up their blood sugar levels. It'll help them kind of regulate. And we all know what hangry feels like. So help them kind of ground themselves by getting them food if they want it. If they don't, that's okay too. But really, I just want to kind of end with that idea. And I want to ask you as the audience, do you guys feel like, there's other really big things that you can do in order to help support your athlete after the big win or after the big loss, in order to help them have a performance mindset, in order to help them see things in the long term, in order to help them, really dive into performance over the long period, rather than getting stuck on the big win or really stuck on the big loss? What can you do to help them move forward, move on, and really dive back in and commit to athletics, commit to their goals, commit to achieving what they want? I'd like to hear your opinion. So throw them in the comment section below. If you have any questions, please let me know. But I thought this was just like a great forum, a great couple of pieces of information, and hopefully you can utilize this information too. Have a great day, everybody. We'll catch you guys later.